Wow, flying that thing is a lot harder than it looks, and it's kind of sketchy in the rain. I don't have much practice, but we got a drone now, so we should hopefully get some sweet footage of everything we do. So yeah, I need to get a lot better at this. I don't even know if I was recording at that point in time. I sure hope I was. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. All right.
Howdy y'all. Welcome to part 3 of our trip through the Cajon Pass, where we have been checking out some of the more interesting and famous spots in the pass. Thank you for taking the time to ride along in the fake Jeep with Brutus and I today. Hill 582 and Sullivan's Curve were super cool to check out. We are now about halfway through the pass, making our way south to the side of the old Cajon train depot, where we will stop for a bit to watch some trains pass by. I love seeing the Cajon Creek still flowing this late into the year. Some say there is gold in this creek, particularly in the lower narrows or Blue Cut area, a bit further south of here. Blue Cut will be visited in the 4th and final part of this series.
Cajon Junction.
Back in the early days of the railroad, somewhere around the late 1800s, the steam locomotives would stop at this depot to drop off passengers and their cargo. The trains would also fill up with water and fuel before continuing on their way up or down the pass. At one time, the Cajon Pass had a freight house, a bunkhouse for railroad workers, and a post office. This is a picture of the area from the mid-1900s, when some of the structures still existed. I love to think about what it must have been like in a place like this back in a time when life seemed to be much easier and people were a bit more friendly to their neighbors. felt like it was time to practice my aerial cinematic skills, so I launched Killa Bee, the amateur aerial cinematic filmerizer, aka the new drone. Sorry for any sudden movements that may cause motion sickness. I'm still learning. The area around the Cajon Depot never developed into a community, and the depot was retired. The last buildings were removed in 1962. Today there is nothing left but a couple of cement foundations that hint to the past life that was once here. Okay, so let's mosey on down the trail to our next destination. To do so, we'll head back up to the upper tracks. No worries, that should buff right out. When I got up to the tracks, I had to stop to take one last look at the canyon from Sullivan's Curve. The view and the weather that day was absolutely gorgeous. This area is also right smack in the middle of the San Andreas Fault. Gigantic sandstone rock formations have been thrusted upwards from beneath the Earth's crust here, as the North American and Pacific Plate are forced against one another. Now, I have lived in Southern California my whole life. 98% of that time has always been within about a 20-minute drive from this area. I have played around in this area a long time, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And in that time, I have never seen one. I have been told, yes, they're in them there hills. But I never saw one until today. And it was not even way up in the hills, it was down low in the canyon. And not only did I see it, but it saw me, and it ran. Watch. I was cruising down the trail at a pretty decent pace because I was running out of daylight and wanted to get a bit more footage in for the day. Just as I passed this car on the right, I began to look for people. Immediately I slowed down, and as I noticed, right in the middle of the road, right in front of me, was a deer. Did you see it? Right in the middle of the road, it darted off to the right and into the canyon. Here it is one more time, a bit slower. I did not notice at the time because I was focused on the deer, but if you look up on the hill to the left, you'll see the person from the car as well. Now look close as we pass the canyon that the deer dodged into. You can barely see him dart away as we pass by. I felt pretty lucky to get that on film. The deer must have been on its way down to the creek to get a sip of water. And just around the bend, I came face to face with a ranger. But he retreated from the fake Jeep and allowed Brutus and I to pass. Driver and the ranger was a nice fellow. We chatted about the trails in the area for a few minutes and then both went about our way. Anyway, just up here to the right, just off of Swathart Canyon Road, is the parking lot for Lost Lake. So we're in Cajon Pass at a place called Lost Lake right now, just across from the Blue Cut Pass.
which is a natural divide between the San Gabriel Mountains over here and the San Bernardino Mountains over there on the other side of the 15 freeway. So let's go walk. Brutus wants to get out and stretch. Come on, Brutus. You want to stretch? Yeah, so we're gonna check out this lake. Here we go.
So from what I can see, Lost Lake has been found. For a while, it had been pretty much dried up, but with this last season's rain, it is full of water and people. It is great to see families enjoying their time together outdoors. I have never seen any fish in this pond, but I've heard that people have caught fish here. I tried once and got skunked. Let's start making our way over to a place called Keenbrook. Ah, yes. This looks like it could be a shortcut. Let's see where it takes us. I am only in two-wheel drive. Got to activate 4 low bro to proceed. I'm pretty sure I could have done it in two-wheel drive if I would have approached it at a different angle and let some air out of my tires, but oh well. Let's go. Here is a bit more footage that, again, I just could not get rid of to shorten the length of this episode. Listen to how quiet this train was when I was driving just a few feet from it with my windows down.
Very quiet train. So here we are at Keen Brook. Train's coming up from San Bernardino through Vermont, Devore. Then it would hit right here into Keenbrook and stop. And then all the people would get off, and then they'd take the stagecoach over the ridge here to the other side of the ridge where Lido Creek is, and vacation at the Applewhite Farm. Then the train would take off continuing north up to Cajon. Then it would stop at the Cajon Junction. And then after it stopped at the Cajon Junction, it would go up to the summit. Stop there. And then from there on into Victorville, and then into Barstow, and so on.
Wow, that was actually a very long train that turned into 2 trains. Remember the intro to part 1? If not, you can click on the link at the end of this video to be taken back so you can rewatch it. As far as today goes, it's getting late, and FJ Mom called and said the supper is almost ready. I'm sure that Brutus has to get out and poop soon too. So we're gonna call it a day. Part 4 will be coming around the bend soon. It will be featuring Keen Brook and the Kiln, the Applewhite Trail, and Devore. I have pretty much most of the footage for that one, so it shouldn't take me a month to get it out this time. Thanks for patiently waiting for this episode to come out. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the entire video. Please help me out and be sure to like and subscribe. And don't worry, all you fellow FJ Cruiser peeps out there. I will soon be doing a video of the fake Jeep too. Hit subscribe so you do not miss what's coming next.